Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's News Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mansions of South Florida. And today's date is June 16th, 2019, on a Sunday. So let us begin. Hey folks, thank you for tuning in. It's great to do another show. Yes, this is Father's Day Sunday, so I'd like to pay homage to all the fathers that are out there, even the ones that are deceased. Hey, the ones that pass, you should always give them a toast on this day, including their birthday, even with the mothers as well, so I can be very fair and thorough. But, that'll be enough of that. Yes, I'm going to be mainly talking about the petition. They're really desperate on the semi-auto ban. They're trying to make it into a fuller constitutional amendment. And it looks like there's some issues are happening on this matter. So it'll be mainly came from the Sun Sentinel, to be exact. And one of the areas is fine because I've got this from a colleague of mine, Florida 10ther. Shout out to him on Facebook. Check him out, Florida10thamendmentcenter.com. And it's mainly about the petition. It says, don't let them silence us. Sign a petition. Help ban assault weapons. Editorial. It's from the Sun Sentinel Editorial Board. Okay? So, let me just read on here. And like it says, people of Florida is up to you. You have the power to help restrict killing machines known as military-style assault weapons, the kind used to destroy so many precious lives at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland and the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. All you have to do is sign your name. Do it. Do it now. Get 3 friends to do it, too. Volunteers are pushing to propose constitutional amendment to ban assault weapons. Announced this week, they have attained 103,000 signed petitions, enough to trigger a Florida Supreme Court review of the proposed ballot language, an important legal step. But a total of 766,200 verified voter signatures are needed for the initiative to reach the November 2020 ballot. That's a tough number to reach. History shows you have to hire people to gather that required signatures from every corner of the state, an effort that usually costs millions of dollars. You can help by downloading, signing, and returning the petition to ban assault weapons now. You can find the petition. Here's a link. The address is 6619 South Dixie Highway, Suite 148, Miami, Florida 33143. And if I'm correct, that's right adjacent with the UPS store in that area. So I'll continue on here. Your help is needed because Governor Ron DeSantis and the special interests who control Tallahassee just made it a lot harder for citizens to take matters in their own hands when the legislator refuses to listen. A new state law Sorry about that. New state law makes it illegal. What the heck here? One moment. Right there. New state law makes it illegal for citizens initiatives to pay petition gatherers by the signature, which will further drive up costs. It also requires petition gatherers to register with the Secretary of State, placing another hurdle before those who want to help, and it imposes fines of $50 for every form not submitted within 30 days and $1,000 for forms not returned, creating a chilling effect on those who might want to volunteer. And of course, that's just one of those things. This cynical attack on democracy, which is such a dirty word for goodness sakes, came on the last full day of the 2019 session. As usual, the majority Republicans steamrolled Democratic opposition, and the governor who pushed the bill behind the scenes signed into law late last Friday. The NRA is thrilled. Sorry about that. is thrilled. These changes are critically important to gun owners as anti-gunners repeatedly try to subvert the Constitution and Second Amendment rights by imposing gun bans and gun control through the ballot petition process. NRA lobbyist Marianne Hammer said in an email blast, defending his support, DeSantis, that this is not supposed to be driven by out-of-state special interests. It's supposed to be driven by Floridians, but that's really now not what's happened. DeSantis is wrong. Consider the 12 constitutional amendments that made last November's ballot. 3 came from the legislature. 7 came from the Constitution Revision Commission, which is appointed by the governor, legislative leaders, and the chief of the Florida Supreme Court. 1 amendment was bankrolled by Disney and the Seminole Tribe of Florida. And 1 amendment 4, which restored voting rights to certain felons, was bankrolled by the ACLU and a social welfare nonprofit called 1630 Fund. The truth is that the rich and powerful in-state special interests, like the gun lobby and big business, hate the initiative process, which has led to legalized medical marijuana, expanded land and water protections, reduced class sizes, and required local approvals of more casino gambling. By raising the price of entry, Tallahassee just made it a lot more difficult for do-gooders to effect change. Supporters of Florida assault weapons ban include some of the families of Parkland and Pulse victims, a leading Republican donor, Al Hoffman, who lives in North Palm Beach, and groups on the front line of the gun safety debate, such as March for Our Lives, Florida PTA, and the League of Women Voters of Florida. Does this sound like a shadowy out-of-state interest to you? The group just released a digital ad, Weapons of War, which features people whose lives have forever been changed by assault weapons. The last time I saw my son, he was in the coffin, says Maria Wright, whose son Jerry was killed at Pulse. When I put my hand on his chest, there was no chest there. They had to put styrofoam to hold up his shirt because that's kind of damage these weapons do. A state ban on military-style assault weapons won't end gun violence, but it's the start. So please sign a petition. Think of 3 people you know and ask them to sign a petition too. Let's prove that political power still belongs to the people. If we fail, the rich and the powerful win again. That's from the editorials or opinions of the Sun Sentinel editorial board are written by one of its members or a designee. The editorial board consists of editorial page editor Rosemary O'Hara, Sergio Bustos, Steve Bosquet, and editor-in-chief Julie Anderson. Well, I have a question for these individuals. Can you explain to me how this petition, the referendum, the ban, the prohibition of, I call it, defense weapons, semi-auto weapons, supersedes Florida Constitution's Article 1, Sections 2, 9, 10, 12, 17, and 23. Furthermore, can you explain what you're addressing can be considered treasonous under Section 20 of the same article? In addition, the militia can be jeopardized if you don't have these certain weapons ready to go when it's necessary under Article 10, Section 2 of our state constitution. That's the question I have for these individuals. Because the truth of the matter is, my friends, it is null and void. Guaranteed. Because the truth of the matter is, folks, you have a right to own these particular tools or weapons. It's considered property. And based on this particular ballot, what they're trying to push for, this referendum, supports victimless crime. In addition, violates the right of privacy. What I'm going to be doing, I will add the Florida Constitution on there. You folks can read for yourselves. It's that simple. And I can say this. Prove to me the police are obligated to protect an individual and the laws in the books pertaining to this matter. Especially the horrific example, the horrific event that happened at Stoneman Douglas. Suspect shooter Nicholas Cruz was considered mentally defected by the courts of Florida. And there was a statute stating he wasn't allowed to own firearms, which, if I'm correct, is 795.065 Florida statute. That law failed. There's a federal law very similar to that. Failed. How about the national background check of 2007? It failed. The firearm free zones at the school failed. The local options, 5-day business waiting period to own a firearm, which the people of Florida voted for in 1998, and Broward had a 5-day waiting period, which is, if I recall, Broward County Ordinance 18-96 failed. And how about the watchmen from that institution? Failed. Including the school resource officers didn't have the courage to go in there. Failed. So you believe it's going to make us feel safer? It won't be guaranteed, but the start is nothing more than treasonous. Kio bono, who benefits? Organized crime, criminals, street criminals, you can put them in both if you want, and corrupt governments. What you want us to do, the fellow editorial board of Sun Sentinel, want us to belly up, saying we are not capable of being responsible for these certain items. Well, I have to tell you this. You're completely dead wrong. That's all I have to say about that. Dead wrong, null and void, unconstitutional. Prove me wrong if you dare. You can't. It is unacceptable. And I condemn this proudly. And I don't give a damn what political affiliate you're with, who you vote for, don't mean dilly squat. And what's interesting about the Ban Assault Weapons Now organization, Ted Deutsch, Congressman Ted Deutsch, runs it. One of the men that runs it. He is no Haim Solomon, no Merrick Edelman, and proud to be less patriotic than Benedict Arnold. Okay? Something like this is nothing more than toilet paper. And that's the truth. Deep down inside, you know I'm right. And I hope this thing shreds to oblivion. It's nothing more than sap of pus. This particular item. Alright, enough of that. Let's see here. Next one came from The Organic Prepper. It's by Daisy Luther. It's going to be a short one today, so folks. But you know what? I'm having a good... It's going to be all good. It says here, the mass shooting map propaganda should convince you to carry at all times. And it came out yesterday, believe it or not. So everything goes hand in hand here. If you use any form of social media whatsoever, you've probably seen the scary mass shooting map published by PBS. Hold on here. Well, I'm trying to get this thing going here. Yeah, what the hell? Sorry about that. If you use any form of social media whatsoever, you've probably seen the scary mass shooting map published by PBS, leading people to believe that they are in a terrifying place that and that strict gun control is the only answer. You probably read some of the cries for gun control and the stat of more than one mass shooting a day happening in the U.S. To see this propaganda, you'd think that people walk around with Uzis randomly opening fire all the time. You probably had a map indignantly posted at you in response to something you said about guns on social media. But you see, the map is BS. It's a big old truckload of bologna sandwiches steaming in the sun. It's a manipulation that's being used to frighten people into thinking they'd be safer if none of us had the tools that we need to protect ourselves. These terrifying dots are not all brazen shootouts in malls and movie theaters, during which someone takes out as many people as they can. But that's how it's portrayed. It's posted without any real criteria except for the fact that is an incident in which 4 or more people are shot, including the initial perpetrator. A reader pointed out these dots indicated shootings, not deaths in every case. This reduces the dramatic effect of the map even more. Since biblical times, murders of groups have been recorded. I'm obviously not saying it's okay by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm saying that acting like this is a new thing fueled by ammo that is blatantly misrepresentation designed to scare people into begging the government for protection. So what you're saying is a big wet dream. Underdog, save me. I can't wipe my own rear end. Underdog, save me. I'm a total wuss, can't fight. Underdog, save me. Someone broke into my house. Can't do, and I'm afraid if I fight back, I may get killed because I don't know how to use anything. That's what they're trying to do. Three-ply purebred syndrome. But why would responsible gun owners be in disarm and make anyone safer? I know it's been said so many times that it becomes a cliche. But when law-abiding people give up their guns, who do you think will have the guns? We'll have another horrifying incident, and no one will be prepared to stop it. The mass shooting is missing important information. There are many vital stats missing. Here are just a few questions you should ask yourself when you look at that ridiculous mass shooting map. Are any of these homeowners protecting their family from a home invasion? We don't know. We just know that 4 people were shot. Any of these incidents of gang violence? We don't know. We just know that 4 people were shot. Also, I'm pretty sure that they don't register their firearms or get permits to carry them. Are there any shooters? Are any of these shooters victims of the mental health industry, taking SSRI antidepressants? Actually, we don't know that quite a few of them were, despite the fact that SSRIs don't work on everyone who takes them, and on some they actually cause the person taking them to become violent and act on their thoughts. I don't see anyone calling for a ban on SSRIs. Are these all legally obtained guns? We don't know. We just know that 4 people were shot. And the most recent incident happened in California, home of some of the most stringent gun laws in the country. It was nearly an 8-month process to get my own concealed carry permit here, and many were the hoops I had to jump through. If anything, this map should make you more convinced of the importance of carrying a firearm everywhere you go. You have an inalienable right as being a human being to preserve your own life. This is a scare tactic for non-critical thinkers. It's full of holes. It's a scare tactic meant to frighten those who won't think more deeply about the issue. It's for people who read the headlines but not the articles. The map was published by PBS, who was sponsored in part by Pew Charitable Trust. While the map makes it look like gun violence is up on the uptick, Pew reported in a recent article that it actually dropped. And half a decade ago, it has remained steady since. And it says here, several mass shootings this year have brought renewed attention on the issue of gun violence in America, and President Obama has again called for Congress to change the nation's gun laws. But the increased spotlight on guns does not reflect the overall gun violence trend in the country. Although most Americans think the number of gun crimes has risen, the U.S. gun homicide rate has actually stabilized somewhat in recent years. According to the Pew Research Center, analyst of death certificate data collected by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Between 1993 and 2000, the gun homicide rate dropped by nearly half, from 7.0 homicides to 3.8 homicides per 100,000 people. Since then, the gun homicide rate has remained relatively flat from 2010 to 2013. The most recent year data are available. Number of gun homicides has hovered between 11,000 and 12,000 per year. Interesting there, right? More mass shootings. More mass shootings since Obama became president than forever. And speaking of Obama, there was a dramatic increase in mass shootings since he took office. And by dramatic, I mean it will blow your ever-loving mind when you see the numbers. Truth Media collected the following statistics on mass shootings. Since the Reagan administration, I knew it was bad under Obama, but wazah! Seeing it in print like this, it clearly shows that the increased gun control isn't slowing down the criminals one little bit. When all incidents where four more people were shot in a single event are broken out by President going back to Reagan, considering the database only stretches back to 1982. There just so happened to have been a startling increase in mass shootings since Obama, the most gun control president has in the modern history, took office. Mass shootings under the last 5 presidents. Ronald Reagan, from 1981 to 1989, 8 years, 11 mass shootings. Incidents with 8 or more deaths equal 5. All right. George Herbert Walker Bush, from 1989 to 93, 4 years, 12 mass murders. Incidents with 8 or more deaths equal 3. Bill Clinton, 1993 to 2001, 8 years, 23 mass murders. Incidents with 8 or more deaths equal 4. George W. Bush, from 2001 to 2009, 20 mass murders. Incidents with 8 or more deaths equals 5. Barack H. Obama, in 7th year now, okay, 162 mass murders. Incidents with 8 or more with deaths equal 18. And you could download this, folks, too, to read the entire article. This article was originally written before Trump became president, but as of 2018, there were 4 mass shootings under his watch. President Obama finished off on 24 mass shooting events. I like a good conspiracy as much as the next prepper, even though I take a lot of them with a grain of salt. But 162. So no, this doesn't make me want gun control. Coincidentally, the day on the one recent shooting, I had just written in an article explaining why I felt it was vital that preppers be armed. The day before the post nightclub shooting, I used the gun to protect my family. These incidents did nothing to change my mind. In fact, they solidified my stance even more. Gun control does not keep you safer, which is a lesson we learned with the 2015 atrocity in Paris. Not one firearm, no one had a firearm with which they could fight back. They hid, and when hiding didn't work, they were slaughtered. They were helpless as a newborn kitten with its eyes closed. They were victims and weren't even allowed a fighting chance to level the playing field. It's maps like these that makes me more determined than ever to exercise my Second Amendment right and protect my family wherever we go. According to the mass shooting map, criminals are everywhere. According to the mass shooting map, a jaunt to the mall, a field trip to the museum, walking to a bank, or going to a movie are all adventures that are fraught with danger. The mass shooting map doesn't make me want to give my gun away. It makes me want to double up and avoid any places I'm not able to carry. In fact, I'll go through a couple of extra magazines in my purse. This article has been updated since was originally published December 3rd, 2015. There you go, folks. Gun control doesn't work. Daisy Luther has it spot on. And this is why, my friends, self-defense is righteous. We got to prepare ourselves at all costs, including having semi-automatic weapons, military-style weapons, when it's necessary, from tyrants, whether it's foreign or domestic. The bottom line of the Florida Constitution Amendment on a semi-auto ban is to control the masses, enslave us all, and make it a victimless crime referendum. You know what I say? No victim, no crime. And just let everyone know, too, we have the power to nullify in the jury box as well. So don't be afraid, my friends, in the great state of Florida or anywhere you go. Fight these vultures, these psychic vampires, treasonous quacks. That is the damn truth. Prove me wrong if you dare. All right? All right. Well, that is it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us through social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or we said something interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please share your correspondence with decorum. Furthermore, I will leave all my footnotes, social media sites, contacts, email addresses, and footnotes as well on my Spreaker page. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.